A little boy walks into an ice cream store wearing a cowboy hat and a pair of 6-shooters. The woman behind the counter can't help smiling at the tough expression on his chubby little face. "Hello there, cowboy," she says. "What can I get for you?" The kid bellies up to the counter. "I'll have an ice cream sundae with butterscotch, cherries, nuts, sprinkles, and chocolate syrup." "Do you want your nuts crushed?" the clerk asks. The little boy whips out his guns, points them at her and says, "Do you want your melons shot off?" A couple were married, and following the wedding, the husband laid down some rules. "I'll be home when I want, if I want, and at the time that I want," he insisted. "And I don't expect any hassle from you. Also, I expect a decent meal to be on the table every evening, unless I tell you otherwise. I'll go hunting, fishing, boozing, and card playing with my buddies whenever I want. Those are my rules," he said. "Any comments?" His new bride replied, "No, that's fine with me. But just understand that there will be sex here at 7 o'clock every night, whether you're here or not." 3 men sat around a table in a bar and talked about their wives. The first man says, "I think my wife is having an affair with an electrician. When I got home last night, I found a pair of pliers and some insulating tape behind the radiator in the bedroom. We've not had any work done on the house, and I can't think of any other way they could have got there." The second man says, "I think my wife is having an affair with a carpenter. Last night, I found a tool belt in the laundry basket, and we've not had any renovations to the house in years." The third man says, "I'm in the same boat, but I don't think you two have it as bad as I do. My wife is having an affair with a horse." The 2 other men both look at him with a confused look and demand an explanation. As he got insane, as she, what the heck was he talking about? The third man lies back and says, "It's very simple, boys. When I got home last night, I found a jockey hidden in the wardrobe." A man was sick and tired of going to work every day while his wife stayed home. He wanted her to see what he went through, so he prayed, "Dear Lord, I go to work every day and put in 8 hours, while my wife merely stays at home. I want her to know what I go through, so please create a trade in our bodies." God, in his infinite wisdom, granted the man's wish. The next morning, sure enough, the man awoke as a woman. He arose, cooked breakfast for his mate, awakened the kids, set out their school clothes, fed them breakfast, packed their lunches, drove them to school, came home and picked up the dry cleaning, took it to the cleaners, and stopped at the bank to draw out money to pay the power bill and telephone bill, drove to the power company and the phone company and paid the bills, went grocery shopping, came home and put away the groceries. He cleaned the cat's litter box and bathed the dog. Then it was already 1 p.m., and he hurried to make the beds, do the laundry, vacuum, dust and sweep and mop the kitchen floor. Ran to the school to pick up the kids and got into an argument with them on the way home. Set out cookies and milk and got the kids organized to do their homework, then set up the ironing board and watched TV while he did the ironing. At 4:30 he began peeling potatoes and washing greens for salad, breaded the pork chops and snapped fresh beans for supper. After supper he cleaned the kitchen, ran the dishwasher, folded laundry, bathed the kids and put them to bed. At 9 p.m. he was exhausted, and though his daily chores weren't finished, he went to bed where he was expected to make love, which he managed to get through without complaint. The next morning he awoke and immediately knelt by the bed and said, "Lord, I don't know what I was thinking. I was so wrong to envy my wife's being able to stay home all day. Please, oh please, let us trade back." The Lord, in his infinite wisdom, replied, "My son, I feel you have learned your lesson and I will be happy to change things back to the way they were. You'll have to wait 9 months though. You got pregnant last night." a 54-year-old accountant, leaves a letter for his wife on Friday evening that reads, "Dear wife, I am 54, and by the time you receive this letter, I will be at the Grand Hotel with my beautiful and attractive 18-year-old secretary." When he arrives at the hotel, there's a letter waiting for him that reads as follows. "Dear husband, I too am 54, and by the time you receive this letter, I will be at the Breakwater Hotel with my handsome and worldly 18-year-old boy toy. You being an accountant will know that 18 goes into 54 many more times than 54 goes into 18. A blonde guy is sitting in a bar when a gorgeous woman enters with all the attributes in the right places. She sits on the other side of the bar. The bartender, who sees the blonde guy eyeing the girl and going to talk to her, tells him, "Don't waste your time, man." She's a lesbian. To his surprise, the blonde still approaches the lady and says, "So, which part of lesbian are you from?" It was Sunday, and the preacher had just finished an inspiring church service when Rick, the wealthiest man in town, stood up and asked to address the congregation. The preacher wasn't surprised at this and said, "Just make it quick, Rick." Rick began, "Sure, Father." He cleared his throat and addressed the audience. "I can still recall the day when I earned my first dollar. That same evening, I attended a church meeting where the speaker talked about his humanitarian efforts. At that moment, I had only that single dollar to my name, and I had to make a tough decision, give it to the speaker's cause, or keep it for myself. I chose to donate it all, and I truly believe that God blessed that decision, which is why I'm a millionaire today." He finished with a tear gleaming in his eye. An old woman in the audience stood up and said, "I dare you to do it again." A young man goes into a pharmacy and says to the pharmacist, "Hello, could I buy a single condom? I'm going to my girlfriend's place for dinner, and I think I may be in with a chance." The pharmacist gives him the condom, and as the young man was leaving, he returns and says, "Actually, give me another condom because my girlfriend's sister is very cute too. She always crosses her legs in a provocative manner when she sees me, and I think I might strike lucky there also." The pharmacist gives him a second condom, and as the young man was leaving again, he turns back and says, "Better yet, I'd like another condom because my girlfriend's mum is still pretty cute, and when she sees me, she always makes eye contact. Since she invited me for dinner, I think I'm in with a good chance when I'm done with the other two." During dinner, the young stud sat with his girlfriend on the left, the sister on his right, and the mum facing him. When the dad walks in, the young man lowers his head and starts the dinner prayer. "Dear Lord, bless this dinner and thank you for all you've given us." 1 minute later, the young man was still praying, "Thank you, Lord, for your kindness." 10 minutes go by, and he is still praying, keeping his head down very close to the table. They all looked at each other surprised. His girlfriend was even more surprised than the others. She leans in close to him and whispers, "I never knew you were so religious." Our young hero, with his head still lowered, whispers, "I never knew your dad was a pharmacist."